You have probably been there. You are in a room with people you like, people you think are smart. The conversation is easy, flowing back and forth. Then, someone mentions the news. A public figure, an athlete, a famous person, did something wrong. The evidence is clear. The story is simple. But your friend, someone you respect, shakes their head. No, they say. That's not what happened. And then it begins. They start to explain. The story they tell is not the simple one you heard. It is complicated, full of strange new details. They talk about hidden motives and secret enemies. They say the evidence is not what it seems. They reframe the story, piece by piece, until the person who did wrong looks like a victim. The real victims, the people who were harmed, are painted as liars or fools. You sit there and listen. You look around the room and see the polite, blank faces of others who are also listening. There is a strange feeling in the air. It is a mix of confusion and secondhand embarrassment. You know your friend is smart. You have seen them solve hard problems and give good advice. But now, they sound like a different person. The logic they are using is twisted into a shape you do not recognize. They are not lying. Not really. They seem to believe every word they are saying. They are passionate, sincere, and completely convinced. They are defending something that seems, to you, impossible to defend. And the more you question them, the more certain they become. Their voice gets stronger. Their arguments become more elaborate. They are not just disagreeing with you. They are protecting something. You might leave that conversation feeling a little unsettled. It is strange to see a smart person abandon reason. It makes you wonder, why would they do that? Why would they trade their own good judgment for a story that is falling apart at the seams? It is a question that is easy to ask about someone else. But the real question is harder to face. It's not just about them. This behavior is everywhere. We see it in the news, in our politics, in the way people talk about celebrities they will never meet. It is a powerful human reflex. We all have our heroes, the people we look up to. And when those heroes are threatened, a strange mechanism kicks in. We rush to their defense. We build walls of argument and reason to protect them, and to protect ourselves from a painful truth. Why? Why do we work so hard to defend the indefensible? The answer is not simple. It is not about loyalty or politics in the way we usually think. It is about a deep and quiet need in the human mind. A need so strong, it can bend the world around us. The first part of the answer has to do with identity. For most people, a famous person is just a person. They exist on a screen or in a magazine. Their life is separate from our own. We can judge their actions from a safe distance. But for a true follower, that distance disappears. Over time, something quiet and powerful can happen. The follower's identity and the hero's identity begin to merge. It is a process psychologists call identity fusion. It is not a choice. It is a slow, emotional bonding that happens without us noticing. The hero is no longer just a person you admire. They become a part of you. Think of it like this. Imagine your sense of self, your identity, is a house that you live in. It is where you feel safe. It is where your beliefs and memories are stored. When you fuse your identity with a hero, you are inviting them to live in that house with you. They are no longer an outsider. They are family. Their story becomes your story. Their successes feel like your successes. When they are celebrated, you feel a warm glow of pride, as if you were the one being celebrated. This is a wonderful feeling. It gives life a sense of meaning and belonging. Your small, personal world suddenly feels bigger, more important. You are part of something. You are connected to a story that matters. This is why parasocial relationships, the one-sided bonds we form with people on screens, can feel so real and so comforting. The hero in your house makes the world feel less lonely. But there is a downside. If the hero is part of your house, an attack on them is not just news. It is a home invasion. When someone presents evidence that your hero has done something terrible, they are not just sharing information. They are standing in your lawn, shouting that your house is rotten. They are saying the person you invited inside is dangerous. The natural response is not to listen calmly. The natural response is to defend your home. You are not just defending a celebrity or a politician. You are defending yourself. You are protecting your own identity, your own story. An insult to them feels like a personal insult to you. This is why the arguments in their defense can sound so emotional, so desperate. They are not coming from a place of logic. They are coming from a place of survival. The mind is trying to protect itself from a devastating idea that a part of its own foundation is flawed. So the mind goes to work. It builds defenses. It looks for any reason to discredit the attacker. The person bringing the bad news becomes the enemy. They must be lying. They must have a hidden agenda. They are the threat. The hero, the person living inside your house, must be protected. Because if they fall, a part of your own house falls with them. The attack feels personal because, in a very real psychological way, it is. There is another layer to this. It is not just about who we are today. It is also about who we were yesterday. Our belief in a hero is not built in a day. It is an investment made over months or even years. And that investment is not just money. It is something far more valuable. It is an investment of emotion. Think of all the hours spent watching them, listening to them, reading about them. Think of the hope they gave you. Think of the pride you felt when you defended them in an argument with a friend. Think of the moments you pointed to them and said, "That is what I believe in." It is also an investment of time. All those hours add up. Time is a piece of our life we can never get back. We spent it building our belief in this person, building their place in our house. This creates a powerful psychological trap. It is called the sunk cost of belief. The sunk cost is all the time and emotion you have already spent. It is gone. You cannot get it back. The problem is, the human mind hates to admit that an investment was a waste. We are wired to protect our past decisions. We want to believe that our past self was smart and made good choices. Admitting that your hero is flawed is not just a judgment about them. It is a judgment about you. It means admitting that your investment was a mistake. It means that the time you spent was wasted. It means the emotion you felt was based on a lie. It means that when you argued with your family and friends, you were the one who was wrong. This is a deeply painful thought. For many people, it is too painful to accept. So, the mind does something remarkable. It chooses a different path. It decides that it is better to double down on the investment than to admit it was bad. It is easier to believe a complicated lie than to face a simple, painful truth. This is like a gambler in a casino who has been losing all night. Logically, they should walk away. But they have already lost so much. The thought of walking away with nothing is unbearable. So, they keep betting. They convince themselves that the next hand will be the one that changes everything. They are chasing their losses, hoping to make the past right. In the same way, a devoted follower will chase their emotional investment. When evidence of the hero's wrongdoing appears, they do not see it as a reason to walk away. They see it as a test of faith. Now is the time to believe even more, to defend even harder. They invent new reasons, new theories. They become investigators, looking for any scrap of information that proves their hero is innocent and the accusers are corrupt. They are not just doing this for the hero. They are doing it for their past self. They are protecting the person they were a year ago, 5 years ago. They are paying a debt to their own history. The cost of continuing to believe, no matter how high, can feel less than the cost of admitting it was all for nothing. There is one more piece to this puzzle. So far, we have looked inside the mind of the individual, but we do not live alone. We are social creatures. We need to belong to a group to survive. For our ancient ancestors, being cast out of the tribe was a death sentence. That fear of exile is still with us. It is a deep and powerful instinct. Defending a hero is often not about the hero at all. It is about the group. It is a way of signaling loyalty to your tribe. Think about any group you belong to. It could be your family, your workplace, a sports team, or a political party. Every group has a set of shared beliefs and behaviors that signal who is in and who is out. These signals bond the group together. They create a sense of safety and shared identity. We believe this. They believe that. In a highly polarized world, our groups can become central to our lives. The tribe becomes a fortress in a scary world. The leader of that tribe, whether a politician or a media figure, becomes more than just a leader. They become a symbol of the group itself. They are the flag. When that flag is attacked, the entire tribe feels the threat. The attack is not just on the leader. It is on the group's identity, its values, its very existence. The group must defend its flag to survive. This is where the behavior gets truly strange. You might think that the best way to defend the leader is with logical arguments and clear evidence, but that is not always how it works. In a strange way, the most illogical defense can be the most powerful signal of loyalty. Here is why. Anyone can defend a leader when the facts are on their side. That is easy. It costs you nothing. It does not prove your loyalty. It just proves you can see reality. But what about when the facts are not on your side? What about when defending your leader makes you look foolish to outsiders? That is the ultimate loyalty test. When you are willing to repeat an argument that makes no sense, you are sending a powerful message to your tribe. You are saying, my loyalty to this group is more important to me than my own reputation. It is more important than facts. It is more important than what outsiders think of me. I am willing to pay a social price to prove I belong. This is a costly signal, and because it is costly, it is believable. It is a secret password that only the truly faithful are willing to use. It separates the true believers from the fair-weather fans. The crazier the argument, the clearer the signal. It tells the rest of the tribe, I am with you no matter what. You can count on me when things get tough. This explains why, when a scandal breaks, the leader's most devoted followers often seem to get more extreme in their defense, not less. They are not trying to convince outsiders. They are talking to each other. They are performing a ritual of group cohesion. They are circling the wagons to protect the tribe. And in a world that feels increasingly divided, the safety of the tribe can feel like the only safety there is. These three forces, identity fusion, sunk cost, and tribal signaling, are not new. They are ancient parts of human psychology. They helped our ancestors survive in a dangerous world. But today, they are being used in ways our ancestors could never have imagined. There is a machine in our modern world that has learned how these forces work. It is the machine of mass communication, of politics, of marketing, of celebrity culture. This machine runs on our belief. It has become very good at creating the conditions for these psychological traps to snap shut on millions of people at once. This is not a conspiracy. It is just a system that has learned what works. Campaigns, whether for a product, a person, or an idea, have discovered that the most effective strategy is not to sell you something. It is to sell you an identity. They do not say, buy this phone. They say, become a creative person. They do not say, vote for this candidate. They say, be a true patriot. They invite you to fuse your identity with their brand or their movement. They offer you a ready-made story about yourself. A story where you are smart, you are good, and you are on the right side of history. They offer you a house for your identity to live in, and they offer you a tribe to belong to. They know that once you accept that invitation, once your identity is fused with their hero, you will do the rest of the work for them. You will become their most passionate advocate. You will defend them for free. You will create the arguments to protect them. When a scandal hits, they know a loyal base will automatically dismiss it as an attack from the other side. The system encourages us to see the world in terms of us and them. It feeds us a steady diet of stories that reinforce our tribe's goodness and the other tribe's badness. This makes our bonds to our group stronger. It makes the leader of our group seem more important. It raises the stakes. Suddenly, a simple disagreement is not a disagreement. It is a battle for the soul of the nation. This machine is very effective because it is not fighting against our nature. It is working with it. It uses our deepest psychological needs, the need for identity, the need to justify our past, the need to belong, and it channels them toward a specific goal. The result is a world where it feels like we can no longer agree on basic facts. We see people clinging to beliefs that seem obviously false. We see them defending actions that seem clearly wrong. It is not because they are all foolish or evil. It is because they are caught in a psychological trap that was set for them. They are protecting their house. They are protecting their past, and they are protecting their tribe. And the machine that runs on belief hums along, getting stronger every day. It is easy to see this pattern in other people. We can point to the followers of a politician we dislike, or the fans of a celebrity we find foolish. We can analyze their behavior from a safe distance. We can see the identity fusion, the sunk cost, the tribal signaling. We can shake our heads and wonder how they can be so blind. But the final step in understanding this is the hardest one. It requires turning the lens around. It requires us to look in the mirror. This is not a sickness that affects only certain people. It is not a flaw found only in certain political parties or fan groups. It is a human condition. The same psychological forces that create blind loyalty in others exist in all of us. The need for a stable identity, the desire to believe our past choices were wise, and the deep, ancient need to belong to a tribe are part of everyone's mind. We all have them, which means we all have blind spots. We all have heroes, whether they are political leaders, thinkers, artists, or even ideas themselves. We all have beliefs that have become part of our house. We have all invested time and emotion in things. We are all members of tribes. The question is not how we can fix them. The question is how we can become more aware of these forces in ourselves. The point is not to become cynical and to believe in nothing. A life without heroes would be a cold and empty one. We need people and ideas to look up to inspire us to be better. But we can hold those beliefs in a different way. We can admire people without fusing our identity to them. We can support a cause without making it our entire house. We can learn to distinguish between a healthy respect and a blind devotion. The goal is to create a small space between who we are and what we believe in. A space where doubt and questions are allowed to enter. A space where we can change our minds without feeling like our entire world is collapsing. Building that space is not easy. It requires a kind of quiet courage. The courage to face uncomfortable truths. The courage to admit we might have been wrong. The courage to stand a little bit apart from our tribe, even if it feels lonely sometimes. The real trap is not loving a hero. The trap is letting that hero become you. When you see someone else defending the indefensible, the easy response is judgment. A harder, but more useful, response is to ask a quiet question of yourself. Who are my heroes? And what would I do if I found out they were not who I thought they were? If the one person or idea you admire most was proven to be a fraud tomorrow, what part of you would you lose? The answer to that question is the beginning of freedom.